well. So it's always a pleasure to spend a little bit of time sharing what I do with the BNI Referral Partners team. And so today's talk is ask better questions, get better answers, right? And so what's the value of getting better answers, right? When you're asking your client better questions, you get better answers, you could design better solutions, right? Better solutions give you more customers and give you better growth, right? One of the things that I'd start with before we get into that, or as an adjunct to this, is talk a little bit about what is coaching, right? So I talk to a lot of folks, and I've got to be honest with you, most people really don't quite understand what coaching is. And it's really a place where a person supports a learner in achieving a specific or personal goal. Right? So we have coaches in soccer, we have coaches for entertainment, we have coaches for actors. I focus in on the business activity, right? And so, and it's not my goal, right? It's my client's goal. It's your goal. If I'm working with you, it's your specific goal, whether it's a personal goal or a business goal. Now, I will tell you that I focus in on the business goals and not the personal goals. All right, so why and how does coaching work, right? It goes along the principle of constant, continuous improvement, right? So anybody comfortable or familiar with the concept of compound interest, right? Anybody familiar with the penny doubled every day story, right? That's constant, right? Every day it doubles, right? Continuous every single day. And because you're basically doing the same activity, you're growing this penny the same way. I mean, it's not like you're doubling it or tripling it, you're just doubling it every single day. You end up with some really gigantic, enormous returns. Here's the process. Learn, take action, act, right? Grow, repeat, right? It's a pretty simple process, right? But the key is that you have to continue learning, continue taking action, continue growing, and continue repeating that process. When you do that, you have constant, continuous improvement, right? Now, a lot of people, we get on a treadmill, right? We get up in the morning, I have my coffee, and off we go, right? And at the end of the day, we got whatever results we got. And then tomorrow I get up and I do the same thing, and I get it again. Now, if I want to do something different, if I would like to have different results, right, I have to step off of that treadmill and spend a little time in this process here saying, listen, what do I want to do differently? And what am I going to do? I'm going to start asking myself some questions. How can I? What can I? And the better questions I ask, the more likely it is that I can take progress or make some progress, right? One of the key components to acting, and for many of us, business endeavors, just because we know how to do something doesn't mean we're any good at it, right? And sometimes there's a little practice that has to happen, and we need to get some feedback from people or the environment that lets us know how well we're doing so that we continue to course correct and get better and become more proficient at that particular activity. All right. Can everybody at the back see this at the top? Okay. Yeah. The 1% rule and goals, right? This is a study. It's been done more than once. This says if you have a constant, continuous improving process, you'll be a lot more effective in the long run than if you just have a kind of make it up as you go along process, right? And on this side here, we've got the return on investment. And over here we have time. Green line represents constant continuous improvement, or essentially the 1% rule. And the 1% rule is what happens if you get 1% better every day, right? What would that mean to you, right, if you got a little better every day? The nice thing about getting a little bit every day is that it doesn't take a gigantic amount of time, right? It could take 10 or 15 minutes or 20 minutes, right? Planning your day a little bit more effectively, managing your time a little bit. There's all kinds of different ways you can do it, but getting a little bit better every day. Now remember, if you're going to try to get better, you got to give it a little time, right? You got to get off that treadmill and figure out, give yourself some time to figure out what that is. You've got the list right here. This is kind of the typical growth line, and sometimes it goes down. There's a little more roller coaster action. But the study showed 30 to 80% improvement in growth using a 1% rule process, right? And this is the process that we use. And when we talk about guaranteed, it works. It works with every single client, every single company that we've ever worked with, because we basically build a system where they continually get better. It doesn't happen instantly. And again, think about that penny doubling every day. The first penny's not a big deal. The second day it's only worth 2 pennies. The second day it's really worth 4 pennies, right? It's really the long run where you get the big hockey stick, right? Because after 30 days, that penny's worth $5.3 million. right? Day 29, it's only worth 2.65. Day 28, it's only worth 1.32. And on day 27, it's only worth 625. All the returns come at the end because of that continuous process. That's the power of compound interest. Einstein says that's probably the most powerful theory in the universe. All right, so we take all this stuff here and say, listen, I want to do continuous constant improvement learning, right? Okay, so then we got to understand the learning process. Now, I did this a little small, and I hope you can see it. Some of you have seen this before, right? But we talk about the learning process. Abraham Maslow put this together back in the 60s, and he worked with several other folks, but if you Google it, he'll show up. It's the 4 stages of learning. We talked about the beginning stage of learning. It's a place called unconscious incompetence, right? This is where we don't know what we don't know. Very tough place to be because it takes some additional outside stimulation to move from that particular place, right? Now, you could read a book, you could watch a video, you could talk to someone. There's a lot of different ways to make that happen, right? But if you don't do any of that activity, if you stay on the treadmill and don't do any of that other activity, guess what? You're stuck right there. You don't get to move. Once you get a new idea or a concept, instantly you translate to a new place called conscious incompetence. That means you know something exists, but it doesn't necessarily know how to do it, right? Oh, good news though. You're now in charge. You could actually decide that you want to know something. You want to get a little bit better. You want to become a little bit more effective. You want to learn a little bit more about something in your business. How do you improve your particular business? In which case, you can then go learn about it and move to the next stage, which is called conscious competence. Right? Conscious competence, now I know how to do it. And then through a series of practice and feedback, you could earn a next level, which is unconscious competence, or what we call proficiency, whatever level you decide that you would like to be at with that particular thing. Ask questions, right? Ask better questions, right? You're on this wheel all day, every day, in various different things. How do you get around the wheel? Ask questions. Ask better questions. Would it be helpful to ask somebody else that specializes in this kind of stuff? Right? You know, that's where somebody like me might come into play. But I would tell you, people use this wheel all the time. And there have been a lot of people that are successful. It's just a little faster when you're talking with somebody like me that says, okay, I specialize in business. These are the learning tools. These are the steps. These are the processes. And I can help get you from point A to point D a lot faster. Ask better questions. Get better answers. Who's our timer today?
Me. 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. All right, ask better questions, right? What does that do? How does that work, right? Well, so there's a book called Fast and Slow Thinking, and it talks about how better questions engage System 2. They talk about System 1 being the habitual response, right? The treadmill, right? We get up and get on it. And System 2 being that higher thinking level response, right? So when you ask better questions, you get much better thinking. It also allows you to guide the conversation, whether it's with me or with your customer. Because remember, your customers are on that circle, that wheel all as well. You get better results, and you ultimately end up with far better solutions. Far better solutions for you and your business and what you're trying to get accomplished. Far better solutions for your customers. Far better solutions for the people that you work with. Far better solutions for the people that you engage with. So learning how to ask better questions, get you better answers, design better solutions. When you have the best solution to the particular challenge, problem, or issue a client has, guess what they do? They buy it, right? Because they can't get it somewhere else, because you got it, right? All right. So, faster growth, more customers. That's really what asking better questions is all about. Ask better questions, get better answers, get faster growth, more customers. I passed around a group coaching activity. This is a new program that we have here today. I'm going to borrow this one here because I didn't get to keep one for myself. 12 weeks, right, of stage A stimulation, right, with the opportunity to ask questions, get better, and have practice and feedback. We're going to talk about metrics. How do you measure your business, right? Strategic planning. What are your goals? What are you trying to get accomplished? We talked about goal setting, focusing your time, building a top team, knocking out your big issues. So, if you're interested, or you know somebody else is interested, and that's really what this is all about, you know, I'd like you to share this with those that are out there. We're going to start this program the second week in February. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys both for your presentations. Appreciate that. For members and visitors alike, if you want more information, schedule one your best bet of getting that done. We don't have time for Q&A. Now it's time as a chapter to do what we call stand and deliver. It's not a time to do another presentation about your business. It's time to actually get back to the chapter. We're going to stand up now and say, I I have referrals for, I have a testimonial for, I have an